Welcome to Rambam, to Maimonides' teachings, in the book of purity. We're dealing with the laws of vessels, how they become impure, pure, what's considered a vessel, an implement, right? So it's very detailed. Sorry, I only have a few moments to learn. I just want to make sure we learn something. So chapter 22 we're doing today, of kalim, of vessels, implements. What is a minimum measure for a cloth to contract impurity? 3 hand breadths. This is a hand breadth, right? It's about 2.5 inches, something like that. 2.5 inches, maybe a little more. So a piece of cloth, actually here. About that size, right? As everything in Torah, there has to be a minimum size of something um, for it to, fall under the parameter of the law. So 300 by 300 to contract impurity of the support of a Zav. Precisely 3 finger breadths by 3 fingers, together with the loose hanging strands to contract impurity stemming from a human corpse or other types of impurity. So remember, there's different ways to get impurity. A Zav is someone who had a unusual form of emission, a man or a woman, right? And then there's a corpse, also another way that you get, right? So if this was a piece of cloth, when it came to a corpse, let's say it was a piece of cloth and there was strands that were not like the like like strands on the piece of cloth that were hanging. Are they part of the cloth or separate from the cloth? So when it comes to human corpse, it's considered part of it, and therefore would be loose hanging strands. You would contract impurity. Okay. So now, with regard to what does the above apply? To cloths of wool or flax. If our cloths were made from other fabrics, they do not contract any type of impurity unless they are 300 by 300. In other words, wool and flax, if this was made from wool or flax, even if there was fringes on it, it would be counted part of the 3 by 3. Other materials, no, the fringes would not be counted as part of the 3 by 3. It have to be 3 by 3 just to the cloth itself and not part, right? As I said, this is very detailed over here. And this is derived from the verse. It says, or
And
a
that's and
garment,
that's hand
your
breaths, not finger breaths.
hand breadth, finger breadths. I
The
don't know if
first
there's a
the first
difference.
one is 3 finger breaths, and the second is hand breaths.
That's interesting.
So for wool and flax, it'd be a bigger piece of cloth.
So, um, hold on. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. You're right. Thank you. Oh, good. I was taking it the same, but I'm looking at the Hebrew now. You're right. 3 fingers or hand breadths. Yes, thank you. Okay, okay, okay. Thank you. Okay, my mistake. So if it's 3 hand breadths, then it would be bigger than even this. It'd be a little bigger than this napkin. Okay? If it was a hand breadth. If it was 3 fingers, hold on. can be as small as this. This is 3 by 3 fingers. I made, thank you. Yes. I wasn't being exact in the English, and I should have been. But I looked at the Hebrew just to confirm that, yes, it is exact. So that would be when it comes in contact with a human corpse. So that's more severe, in other words, when it come in contact with a human corpse, 3 by 3, right? Now, other cloths that are not wool and flax, that's called wool and flax, right? Then it would be 3 by 3 without the strands. And where do we get that from? Because it says, or a garment in the verse. The oral tradition, it's taught that the word or serves as an inclusion, right? Or is inclusionary, right? Actually, how would be or inclusionary? Okay, because it's either this or this. That's inclusion. What that means inclusionary, right? The word or is an inclusionary word, right? Since it says there, the teaching that the garment 3 handbreadths by 3 handbreadths from other fabrics is susceptible to impurity. Aha. Because a garment, I guess, what's considered a garment is something that's made from wool or flax. That's what garments were made from. But what if it was made from something else, right? So the word or is to include, means, but it won't be the same size. It won't be 3 by 3 fingers, right? It'll be 3 by 3 handbreadths. So it's going to be a larger size that it needs to be in order that it's considered a garment. That, what does it mean, a garment? That's susceptible to impurity. Ah. Now, when does the above apply? With regard to a torn piece from a garment. Yeah, I have to remember back in the day, every piece, like not today, today, how many, how many pairs of pants and shirts and socks and undergarments do you have? Plenty, right? Back in the day, they probably had one undergarment for the week and one for Shabbos, right? So everything, there was a preciousness to it. Didn't have much. So, so here the verse is speaking when you're talking to a torn piece that came from a garment originally, right? So it became like this is now became a shmata to clean with, right? From a torn garment, you use it. We throw it away today. Back then, they would use it. It was an implement still. When, however, one weaves a garment independently, it is susceptible to any impurity, no matter how small it is, with the exception of impurity of the support of the zov, which is only those articles fit to serve as a support where it's susceptible. If you made this garment, right, not as a clothes, but as a, you made it as a shmata, right? For whatever is. Actually, no, it's a garment. I'm sorry. Here we have but if it's a garment, I don't know what it would be. I don't know if uh, you made a garment for your pinky, cold winters and your pinkies, it's cold. I don't know. I don't know what the example would be. No matter what the size is. Why? Because it's got the name garment to it. So it doesn't matter the size. Here we're speaking about you took something from a garment, but it's not a garment now. Right? It's a piece of cloth that may be using for other, whatever, cleaning or whatever you're using it for, right? Since it came from a garment, now it needs to have a size because it isn't a garment. Okay, interesting. Number 2, very thick cloths, felt or firm or thick blankets or very thin clothes, linen garments of the Egyptians, through which the flesh can be seen, are not susceptible to impurity unless the torn fabric is 3 handbreadths by 3 handbreadths. This applies both to the regard to the impurity of the support of the zov and other types of impurity. So here again, you're taking a torn fabric and using it because it was something that has some kind of implement to it, implementation, right? Implement means something that has implementation. Garment has an implementation. What is it? Clothes you wear, right? That therefore, since it's something that's functional, right? The form follows the function. It was part of a functional thing. Now the form follows that function. And even though it's not used as a garment to wear, but you're using it for some other, it's a torn fabric. So now it needs to have a measure because it doesn't have, it's not called a garment anymore, but it came from a garment. So therefore it needs a measure. Very interesting. Okay. I expect to take so long and just those two, but I must run. All right, folks. Thank you.
Thank you, Rabbi.
God bless you all.
Have a great week.
Amen. Thank you. All right. Great week and a great day. And a good Chodesh. It's a new month. Today and tomorrow. Be well.
Thank
Chodesh
you.
Tov.